Good afternoon, crafty friends. So I've got a few hauls here to record for everyone. The first one here is a haul from the Artshop in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. They do have an online store, but I was fortunate enough to be in the city, and on a weekday, I think they're open 7 days a week, but anyway, I was there on a weekday, and I thought that I would take the extra 20 minutes and drive there in person and actually wander around the shop, and I had so much fun. Like, it's not a massively huge shop, but it's still a big shop full of just art supplies. So it's not really a craft store, but it's definitely an art shop, and I had so much fun wandering around it. I had my little son with me. I was hauling him around, and he was looking at all the colors, and he was happy, and I was happy, so I'll put their link to their online store in the little description below, just so you can get there. But if you're in Melbourne, definitely worth going for the drive and having a look. Yeah, so I got some new paper, and I was really excited to try some paper that I haven't tried before. Now, I haven't opened up the packages, so I don't have any reviews, but I'll show them what I've got. So I got the Saunders Waterford paper. Now I got the classic, it's white, it's the CP, which just means cold press. And there's 12 sheets, and I got it in the block format, so it's like gummed on almost 3 3/4 sides. There's just this tiny little like 1.5-inch gap here where you sort of just, I don't know if you can see that, but you just put your like palette knife or something and you run it along the edge when you want to take it off. It just means that it's already pre-stretched for you and all that sort of stuff. I really want to try something in a block. And this paper pad is 10-inch by 7-inch and is the 300 grams or 140 pound paper. So really want to try it out. It is sort of like a creamy color, not a white. But I've heard really good things about the Saunders paper, and I really want to try it. So I also grabbed an extra pad of the Arches Smooth 300 GSM paper. I really like this stuff, and I just want to make sure, since I was there, I wanted to pick up another pad. I've still got like half of the other one, but just stocking up. And then I picked up some Canson tracing paper. This is 50 GSM. I just wanted something to trace drawings onto watercolor paper, because I was doing some research, and instead of sketching directly onto watercolor paper, if you like sketch in a sketchbook or whatever else, when you draw directly onto watercolor paper, little grooves your pencil makes if you erase sort of will show up on your watercoloring. So I want to get some tracing papers so that I could trace the final product or drawing or sketch or whatever I want to be coloring. If it's not a stamp, I want to be able just to use this and then get a perfect one, sort of get it perfect on the watercolor the first time, so I don't have eraser marks or anything like that. And the other one I wanted to try was the Fabriano. Woo! So this one here is cold press again, and sorry if you don't know either, hot press basically means it's just really smooth, and the cold press means that it's got some texture to it. And I think the cold press does take water slightly differently to the hot press, but it all depends what you're doing and what your preference is. So anyway, I want to try out this one. It's their watercolor, 12 sheets, cold press, 300 GSM, and it's 12.5 inches by 9.5 inches. So I definitely want to try out this pad as well. It's not a block, it's just gummed at the one side. So those are my paper pads, very exciting. And continuing on with watercolor, I grabbed, because I have heaps of watercolors, I wanted to get a Horadam aquarelle. There's 2 colors that I really wanted to get that I didn't get in my big set, and it was raw sienna and sap green, but they were out of sap green and the Schmincke aquarelle, the Horadam ones, so I ended up just buying it in Daniel Smith. It was $3 more expensive to get this size tube with Daniel Smith, but I didn't really want to do an order, like an online order, for just one little tube this size, so I just grabbed the Daniel Smiths. They're really nice paints as well, so that's what I did. And I grabbed 3 of these little half pans to put in my watercolor set. So I've already sort of squeezed them out and let them dry. So yeah, so I grabbed those and just grabbed a spare one in case I pick up another tube somewhere. And more for the more crafty goodness, I should say. Art supplies, but yeah, you know what I mean. I'll be using all sorts of things. So I also grabbed these Caran d'Ache Luminescence pencils. So these are the 001, so they're white. And I just grabbed them. Someone online, I forget who I was watching, but they really recommended this as a, like, they just said it was a really brilliant white pencil on like craft and things like that compared to your even to the Prismacolors. Most people will pick a Prismacolor white over the Polychromos white, but then someone was saying that these ones, they take this over the Prismacolor. So I wanted to try it out. I grabbed 2 pencils because they're only a couple bucks, and I thought I'd grab them because they're hard to find. And then I grabbed some Copic multi-liners. These are just the ones that you toss out when you finish them, so I didn't get the refilled type. I wanted to get these because they're not black, so I got 2 warm grays in size 0.3 and 0.05. I think my favorite size is the smaller ones for, you know, lining drawings and stuff like that. And then I also wanted to try this sepia one, which is sort of like brown, and I got the 0.5. And that was kind of a step up on my part. I thought I was buying like the 0.05, but I obviously grabbed the wrong one and didn't open the cap and look at the size, but that's okay. I want to try out the color anyway. So I grabbed these. Plus, it was really cool because they had Copic sketches. Yay! And like, it's so nice and refreshing to actually go to a real art store and be able to open a cap and scribble it on paper and see what the color is, rather than just sort of guessing based on what, you know, your screen resolution is online. So that was lots of fun, and I stood there for quite some time trying to pick out some colors. So I ended up getting lots of neutrals actually. So I really wanted to get some more of the earth tone range. So I got 2 more of the I got an E31 and E33, just for, you know, more critters and bears and all sorts of stuff. And I grabbed the E42 sand white and also the E27, which is milk chocolate. So yeah, I just needed a few more tones because I do so many little critters, so I wanted to have some more browns. And then I wanted to try out an N, so the neutral gray. Like, I've got cool grays and warm grays, but I just want to try one of these out. So I just grabbed the N1 just to have a play with it and see if I actually like that tone or what the go is there. And then I got some colors as well, and these are sort of off of I was watching, I was on the Waffle Flower blog, and I believe it's the creator. Anyway, she's doing some really simple Copic coloring, and I loved the colors that she was using, so I grabbed some of the ones that she was using. So she used this BG72, which is Ice Ocean, BV quadruple 0, which is Pale Thistle, RV quadruple 0, which is Evening Rose, Y00, which is Barium Yellow, and then this one I just grabbed because I like the color. It was G000 Pale Green. So as you can see, I grabbed some pastel-y colors because I don't really have any pastels yet. So that was my haul from the art store, and I will move on to the next one.